Hi there. My name is Angus Wright, and I also go by Angus By Design. And this is day two of a practice that I'm putting into place where I read three quotes and I pull a card from my animal oracle deck in order to reflect for today. It's part of a spiritual practice that I call my Satsang for One, and it's day 126 of a podcast called Be Here Now, which is chronicling Ram Dass. So that's available if you can find the Be Here Now network. You can go to ramdas.org to find out more information, but that's a little bit of the background. So I really enjoyed today's episode. I'm going to read the quotes. It's a conversation between Ram Dass and Dr. Larry Brilliant. Um, so just to give you a little idea of who he is, in 1978, after working with the World Health Organization to end smallpox in India, Dr. Larry Brilliant and his wife, who was a public health specialist, published an article entitled Death to a Killer Disease. It was a personal account of their decade in Asia, first as youthful travelers, then as spiritual seekers, and eventually as part of the World Health Organization's successful smallpox eradication team. So the people were so moved by what they had written. $20,000 worth of donations were arriving in their mailbox, and the first $5,000 came from Steve Jobs. So I just think that's pretty interesting, and that can be found. Information on that can be found at seva.org, which is now an organization that helps people see through donations. So two of the quotes are from Larry, and one is from Ram Dass, and the first one is the Miracle of Maharaji. That's the miracle, who Maharaji was, how he knew what he knew, how he did this to Richard Alpert and to our whole culture, how he can transform you just by being in his presence. Larry Brilliant. Richard Alpert is Ram Dass, and Ram Dass often speaks to the very first impact that Maharaji had on him was he gave him the sense of being unconditionally loved and accepted. So the next quote is spread love. You can march the outward march in protest while recognizing your soul and the soul of your enemies. I can get into a march or a protest and radiate from me peace and love so that the other people around me are realizing that same thing. This is what our charge is in that. I'm putting it baldly, saying spread love, spread love. That's Ram Dass. And the third quote I call doobie doobie doo. And this is like a rough quote because it's just what I wrote in my journal. Is it more important to be or more important to do? We had the doers and be-ers, and we reached a consensus of doobie doobie doo. And that was Larry Brilliant speaking to the organization of the SIVA. So they were coming together to sort of to see what to do next, right, after eradicating smallpox. What I love too is that Maharaji, so Larry speaks about Maharaji and his experiences with him. And he was given the nickname Dr. America. And then Maharaji at one point had said to him, he kept saying, you are no doctor, you are no doctor. And then that slowly transformed into UNO doctor, which Larry took to mean United Nations Organization doctor. So as a young seeker hippie, Larry was a little confused at the time, but he would go on to do great things. So I'm going to take that energy and I'm just going to focus on shuffling the cards. And then we'll read what the card says, and we'll see how that reflects in today's podcast. So today's card is Cat Spirit. Claim your independence. Okay. Let's take a look here. So Cat Spirit, claim your independence. The Oracle message. When Cat Spirit meows, she is calling you to claim your independence and allow for some space between you and others in your life. The only way you can grow in all your relationships now is to have a healthy sense of self-respect and self-worth. When you walk with dignity, knowing who you are, self-aware and willing to grow, trusting the value you bring, the world will mirror all of this back to you in kind. When you say no to codependency and enmeshment, live and let live, and practice taking risks as you wander into new territory for you, Cat Spirit rejoices. She is here to urge you to let your independent spirit roam free. The protection message in this card. This may be the time that you're facing some unpredictable situations. Are you hesitant to take a risk, too cautious to jump into something new because you fear you can't trust yourself? Cat Spirit is saying, go for it, because you will land on your feet. If nothing seems to be going according to plan, there is no reason to worry. Cat Spirit loves to mix it up, and these seeming upsets will actually bring you some wondrous and unexpected opportunities. Get ready to pounce, as you may be called to jump into something new at a moment's notice. At this time, your instincts are keen and your intuition is sharp. Remember, even a temporary failure can lead to spectacular success. So embrace the adventure. You are sure-footed and can trust yourself. Yeah, that's a that's a great card. And claiming independence. What I really love is basically the message behind Ram Dass, and his message is just be here now, be present, and part of the it's part of a foundation called the Love, Serve, Remember Foundation. And today I posted a photo. So in my journal, this is a journaling practice for me, and today in my journal I posted a couple of photos. One of them is a photo of Ram Dass sitting at the feet of his guru, who is Maharaji. And the other photo is Maharaj-ji reading the book that Ram Dass had published. And what I love is when Ram Dass tells his story, he often says that he was told not to tell anybody about Maharaji when he got back to America, but that he kind of, very cheekily suggests that Maharaji already knew that he was going to spread the word. And so he had put together this book, which is called Be Here Now, and it just recently celebrated 50 years as an anniversary. And so so the other image is Maharaji reading that book, and I just love the realism in that, because all that really happened was that Maharaji was able to mirror the parts of Richard Alpert which helped Richard accept himself and become independent, and to push forward with his ideas, his dreams, his hopes, his theories. Richard Alpert, his roots are also in academia, and he's famously connected with Timothy Leary, and all of that is part of the same circle of influence that leads to a lot of the advances in medicine and spirituality and all of that we see today. So anyway, I just think it's kind of wonderful. The more you fall down a rabbit hole about Larry Brilliant, the more interesting he becomes, and the more you can see that influence. So anyway, that is that. So again, my name is Angus Wright. This is a journaling practice that I do as part of my personal wellness recovery, and I journal out loud. This is a journaling tool as well. So it's a wonderful way to check in with myself. It's a great way to influence my own feed and my own feedback, and it's a great way to feel like I'm contributing, even if it's just for my own soul, knowing that everything starts right here, right now. So namaste. Have a wonderful day.